Welcome, Elaine, to Moonlight Conversations. How are
Hello,
you?
hello Anna, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So, tonight we're going to be talking about unlocking your personal growth and potential, or unlocking your potential and personal growth. So, I'd like to start off the questions by just give us a short or brief personal story or experience that significantly shaped your perspective on growth, please.
Okay, I will start by sharing the moment of discovering myself in my own country, where I start
Yes.
asking myself questions about the perspective and how can I change it in a way that I see problems around me and how over to overcome them and moving toward my goals despite uncertainty. This
Yes.
uncertainty leads me to asking questions and keep myself catching some answers in a way to connect with my mission. Especially
Mm-hmm.
the first step was to get out from my country in order to go and lead the way into another destination where I can find a lot of opportunities to chase my dreams.
Yes.
So this is the first step. Was the basics was asking a lot of questions, especially with my curiosity in my personality that is based on dealing with problems, as an example, anxiety, social barriers, different challenges. So this is
Yes.
briefly my impactful story, where the first step was to define your surroundings, to define your situation first, and then asking
Yes.
questions and start chasing your dreams. This is, I think,
Okay.
the first step where you can unlock your potential through your path and free from your self doubt and trust yourself, discovering what you are truly capable of.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you for that. So, what does unlocking the potential mean to your personality? I think you've touched on that already. So, asking questions, changing perspective, and all that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah. So, um, what how do you identify um personal growth as well? So is that the same as your potential?
It's you can define personal growth as it's a dynamic process where ongoing process rather than a destination. It's a process where you find your capabilities, you test them, you involve in different curve of learning, of adaptation, stepping outside your comfort zone. This is where you define the personal growth, and it's not
Yes.
about only becoming someone else. It's becoming more of who you really are, who you want to be. It's a clear
Oh,
path. It's a clear path in your during your vision, your process, and especially you change your perspective as a different vision. And the people here, they think growth has to be big and dramatic, but
yeah.
it often happens in small consistent steps, and also
Mhm.
there's some beliefs that define growth as linear, but in reality it's not.
Yeah.
It's a messy and non-linear. It's ups and downs. It's where you 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 chase
It has
your
twists
objective.
and turns.
Sorry.
It has twists and turns.
Yes, it's a path of it's a long path of uncertainty and where you test your capabilities and you chase
Yes.
your dreams to lead to a good destination at the end.
Okay. So, what are the core beliefs that you think you hold to that we need to hold to enable us to grow?
Yeah, I think the belief is based on your identity and your potential, where you start to test your self-reflection, to trying new things, to listening
Mm,
to your feedback, to the people that you're like the feedback of the people they surround you. Because potential isn't always obvious. It is covered through action between you and the people, and
yes.
especially where you share your personal failure to your surroundings. You have to catch some support to let you works after that and try to change the method of seeing things and yeah, seeing the dealing with these setbacks as building resilience and
Mm,
reframing your failures, you know, through the learning, through the maintaining a strong why. The why keeps you motivated through your path, and
oh,
I
okay.
think, yeah, I think fear, self doubt, and lack of resources. This is how you overcome them by taking small, bold steps, um, and especially surrounding yourself with the right people and focusing only on the progress over perfection, because progress is always leads you to your objectives rather than
Yes.
perfection. Perfection is always hunting you with the ego, and you cannot, you know, you cannot continue working on yourself if you feel or if you feed yourself by the super ego that you already have. So
Mm,
this is how you start defining your potential and identify your tools. You can use the practical tools that already my newsletter based on, the personality
oh,
tests, the feedback from mentors, exposure new challenges based on the daily
mm,
routine, day to day,
yes.
and this is how you combine all of them into a new a new system to yourself. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Elaine. So, how do we discover hidden talents and passions? I mean, what are the practical tools and methods um, to identify our own potential? So, I think you
Already.
can expand on that a little bit more.
For expanding your potential, you mean? Yeah.
Identifying our own potential and discovering hidden talents and passions.
Yes. The way you identify your potential is by testing uh, what you know. It means if you know, uh, as an example, you know Arabic, you have to talk Arabic first in order to test your
Yes.
capabilities, how much you master the language, how much you trying new things in the language. If you teach it to the people that it's in need of this challenge, and the way to test your potential is by having the best tools. So the best tools is journaling, start writing, start building a
Mm,
new test for your personality, and have a
okay.
feedback for mentors to master the language. As an example, you have to ask professional people where
Yes.
they teach this language, and
Yes.
exposure to new challenges. When you ask questions, you start having multiple probabilities into finding yourself,
Mm.
and in order to master the language, you have to test your potential. So to identify your potential, you have to start working to do things now, to have multiple practical tools, and to do
Mm.
day-to-day action in order to define what you can do and what you want to do,
Okay.
and what you know and what you don't know. So different
Okay.
different strategies, and you test yourself and you see where to go in the end,
Okay.
and you define your objectives.
I see. So I guess what you're really saying is that in order to test or identify, I mean, to identify or discover your hidden talents and passions and potential, we need to test ourselves, put ourselves out there by, let's say, for example, like you said, if we want to learn a language, we have to test it, right?
Yes, to test it, what you know already, it's the first step.
Yes.
To write what you know and what you want to do through the process, and what's your objective. If you define your starting point and your destination point, you can lead through the path and through the whole process. And this is how you test your potential, by surrounding with the good people to give you feedback and asking
Yes.
questions. I repeat, asking questions is key. Asking question is the
Hmm.
first step to start doing what you want to do and what you want
Okay.
as an objective. It's to lead you through the way.
Okay. So ask lots of questions so
Yes.
you can learn.
You
Okay,
can
that's
learn and test
great.
your potential, yeah, through the tools that you already
Yes.
know or you already want. Even sometimes you don't
Yes.
have the right tools to grow. So you have to ask questions: from where I get the tools, how can I learn, searching online. There's a lot of tools that you can use in
Yeah.
order to
So
grow.
if you say, for example, if you know you're good at language and you want to try and learn a new language like Arabic or French or Spanish or whatever, you try and ask questions people who know those languages and
Yes.
whatnot. And
As an
okay, that's
example, if I want to learn now the Spanish language, and
yes,
it's very similar to the French language. So
yeah,
I open YouTube, ask the people there which professor like to learn this language, and then start catching some patterns in Spanish language that's similar to the French one. And this is how you start catching the new terms in Spanish and start writing them and start repeating them and identify the vocabulary is related to the language. So this is the process. Is not easy. Um, when you talk about
yes,
it, it looks easy, but this is, you build it day by day to define the best tools that you
that's
have and
correct.
repeat them. If you want to master a language,
That's
as an example, you have to repeat it day by day and having the best tools to lead to
that's
your
correct.
objectives. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, for example, as well, if you are interested in writing, you know you have a passion for writing, but you
Yes,
have
correct.
only been writing poems or poetry, first of all, and then you want to verge into, or you want to merge into writing, say, short stories or novels. You
Yes.
explore that by asking other people who have been doing that already. Isn't that
Yes.
right?
Asking the
Okay.
best people that they are already doing it, because
Mm,
if you search for the best poem or the best practice in this field, You cannot know the
Okay.
experience. You cannot know the experience that you have to get from the people. So the best
Yeah.
way to learn is to connect with people and build a good relation in order to give you their experience, because alone, researching alone, and maybe you don't have the best tools. So the best connection and the best building for your habits is to connect with people. This is where
Yeah.
I find myself on Substack in order to connect with people and helping them, give them the best
True.
tools, give them the best tools for practicing whatever they are like stucking
Doing,
in their
yes.
journey, and they
So
need to define first their potential and leads to what they already want to do.
that's great. So, what do you think are, let's talk about overcoming obstacles
Yes.
and like changing mindset as well, or cultivating mindset. So, what are the common obstacles that people face in their growth journey, and how can they overcome them? Like, what are the limitations, or what challenging limiting beliefs do
Yeah.
we have?
I think, in my opinion, people always give up quickly.
Mm,
Some people, yeah, they give up quickly, but they have to know that the growth is not a linear line. It's a
yes.
it's a process, ups and downs. Like the downs are already in the process, which is you can overcome them by taking small steps. It's not, as an example, if you want to write, you never write, you never have these skills before. You have to write. I already mentioned this. You write one sentence per day. Imagine one sentence per
Yes.
day. So this is, you build
Yes.
a small habit with bold steps, and start asking questions, surrounding yourself with the right people, and focusing on the progress over perfection. So this is how you lead to growth, and emphasize that failure is only data. It teaches you what works and what doesn't.
Mm,
And For sure, if you want to deal with your setbacks, you have to build resilience by reframing failures, learning from them, and maintaining a strong why to keep you motivated. So the growth that the people define them is something big in their opinion, and something like very huge to reach. But the growth is the process itself. It's how you can build these small steps, how you change your perspective, how you test yourself. You're asking the best people surrounding you, and
mm,
I think the people, they are already failed by defining the process, and like they give up quickly and define it as it's a long process and takes time. I cannot do that, and all the
yeah.
excuses that I have this kind of self doubt. I already have
Yeah.
this kind of
Limiting beliefs.
questions, limiting
Yes.
beliefs, limiting things, like thoughts, and
Yeah.
this is where I was seeing myself not capable of, and not believing in myself. You have to change the perspective. You have to test yourself to try to uh, to see what you can do and what you don't have to do, etc. Like through the process, and
Mm,
it's very powerful and very motivated when you start working on yourself, because your capabilities, it's out of reach. It's unstoppable. You will be unstoppable after that.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. So one of them would be limiting beliefs, like thinking, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is going to take a while or a long time," or this is too hard or something like that. So mostly it's just our limiting beliefs that's stopping us from, reaching our or unlocking our potential and reaching that growth,
Correct.
isn't it?
Especially correct. Especially to add one idea about what you already mentioned, is the brain tricks
Mm.
you sometimes. So the brain
Yes,
creates thoughts that they are not you. They don't define you. So sometimes
yes.
you talk to your brain in a way that the brain gives you thoughts that limiting your beliefs or limiting your
Mm.
capabilities, limiting your actions. So you have to trick your brain to start working on yourself and just remove these bad thoughts and start working. And
Okay.
through the process, you see the motivation and you see the positivity and all the results that you already reach, and you start building
Yes.
yourself through these steps.
So basically, you're saying we should start thinking positively instead of negatively, instead of those limiting beliefs. We should like expand our mind more. Isn't that right?
Correct. And
Okay.
where you can find yourself is by start doing it now, and you see you're motivated through the process, because the process gives you, when you do something good, it reflects positive in yourself, and you see your capabilities growing and growing and growing through the process. This is how you
Awesome.
switch. This is how you switch from bad thinking through the positive habits. And this is habits, it means action. So this is the changing of the perspective.
Okay. So mindset is very important, like you
Of,
said,
of course, yeah,
isn't it?
it's indeed. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So how do you practice resilience, and how do you like maintain motivation when you're like having these limiting beliefs or something?
Yeah, the through the process you can train yourself to expect challenges,
Yes.
practice gratitude, build a
Yes.
support system to yourself. As an example, by a energy calendar that already mentioned. This is one of my tools at in my newsletter, energy calendar, and
Okay.
there's a way to test your energy through the process. And
Okay.
the impactful habits, it's based on the morning routines, reflection time, mindful breaks,
Okay.
continuous learning. These start small and staying consistent, make them rewarding yourself, and just no one, and you have to know that no one grows alone. It's a
Yeah.
community that accelerates
Mhm.
progress, which is we have it on Substack, and
Yes.
finding support is key.
Yes.
It's an intentional network, to join community, to join my group as Rise and Clarity Insider, as an example. Seek mentors, give value to others. So I think you have to. The main point here is you have to train yourself to expect challenges in a different way. Sometimes you're depressed, sometimes you don't sleep at night, sometimes there's a lot through
Yes.
the process. You have to be self-aware. You have to have the
Oh, okay.
self-awareness of what you expect, because during this process is not easy. It's not easy to change the perspective first and start building it. So these two terms or two concepts are key to the process. Train yourself to expect challenges and practice self-awareness. These how you
Oh,
challenge yourself to change the negative thoughts and celebrate the small wins. And yeah,
okay.
so between the self-awareness and expecting the challenges, this is are the basics.
Okay. So basically, it's like that saying, isn't it? Hope for the best, but expect the worst, or something like that.
Yes, correct. So
Yeah.
when you start testing your capabilities, you can overcome the obstacles because you already expect the challenge. So this is how it goes.
Yeah.
It goes parallel. You celebrate the wins, you test your potential, you grow, you grow, you grow, and then if something comes up with any obstacle, you overcome it like easily because you already grow, your potential are growing. So this is the
Because
playground.
you're expecting the challenges, you know how to deal with them already.
Correct. 100%.
Okay. All right. That's great. So, what daily habits or routines have been most impactful in your personal growth? And how do you build and maintain these effective habits? Like, I think you mentioned already that you're supposed to be expecting challenges,
Correct.
right?
And
And then,
changing your
yeah,
morning routines, do some sports, move around, do
okay,
some. You can run, to release the stress from your body. You can do
yeah,
meditation. You can do, if you don't want to name it meditation, you have to do reflection time
yes,
to continue learning. This is start small. They should know that you have to start small. You cannot be strong directly. You have to build it through time. This is stay
yes,
consistent to repeat the meditation every day for 10 to 15 minutes to reflect what you think about, what you have to do, and what your next steps. Make the celebrate the wins, embracing the process. So these whole habits and routines, this is where I put them in my system in order to leave the country that already not supporting me, leave the people that they don't support me before, catching the morning routines, do some sports, uh, playing my best sports like basketball as an example. Reflection
yeah,
time is based on meditation,
yes,
um, rewarding yourself. As an example, for me, I read a lot and then I start writing to catch the best community that support me and accelerates the process. Finding support is key. This is you join the groups, the
yes,
best groups, the seeking the best mentors. This is give you
yeah,
value. This give value to others. So if I'm coach
yeah,
now and a life storyteller, this is where they can find me in order to give them at least positivity. If they don't want to share their problem, at least I'm giving them on Substack and through this recorder and through your newsletter already with Anna the positivity that they already want to listen to. So
okay,
it's really important. People have to know the importance of the small habits and the small steps
yeah.
that you have to do, and the repetitive process which leads you to the best destination.
Yeah. So you mentioned the importance of mentorship or role of mentorship and community already. So you think that's very important, like for example, here in Substack and all that, you
Yeah,
need listeners or supportive environments that can support you in your journey of growth and unlocking your potential. Isn't that right?
correct, correct.
Okay. So, with regards to goal setting, let's go to goal setting and planning.
Yes.
What are your strategies for effective goal setting and planning for personal growth? And how do you break down large goals into manageable steps?
Yeah. I think the effective strategy is based on the clarity when you put a
Mm,
checklist and you start writing your objectives. What do you
yes.
truly want to do? What do you truly want? And break these wants into steps and set deadlines. As an example, I want to learn French in 30 days, put the deadline in 30
Yes.
days and
Yes.
build the learning curve in 30 days, and then the other objectives the next month, and then you keep going. So you put the large goals as a different strategy than the small ones. If you have large goals, you have to use the method of reverse engineering method. It means you start with the end goal, where I want to go. You put the
Yes.
objective, and then that has a good impact on you, and then you work backward. As an example, you
Oh.
put the big action and you start cut them like a cake for the large goals, and the small goals it's already through the process. So this is where you have an effective strategies and the breaking large goals. So
So,
you have the effective strategy through the process, and you already break down your large goals, which is they combine and you have the common playground.
okay. So reverse engineer your goals. Is that right?
Yes,
So do you mind expanding on that or giving us more
yes,
information regarding that? So is it like breaking your goal into different steps, like different small steps? Is that right?
yes, correct. Because the effective
Mhm.
strategies first, if you want to have it like as a summary, the effective strategies is to build small steps, and the reverse engineering strategies, you have the big goal, and you start cut them like small pieces. So when you cut the big goals
Mm.
into small pieces, so you base on the effective strategy. This the common playground between the two strategic thinking. So as an example, let's take for 6 months I want to be a pilot. Let's
Mm.
say that, or I want to teach
Mm.
Spanish in 6 months because I don't know the language, but anyway, or I want to teach any language in 6 months. So
Yes.
you define this 6 month as a small six steps, which is leads you
Yeah.
directly to the effective strategies that already talking about. So
Okay.
the effective strategy are based in small steps with the short term goals. So the long term goals are built with the multiple short term goals. So this is where you find the playground, the common playground
Oh,
between the two.
okay. So I think you mentioned earlier as well when you said, if you want to write, you have to write every day. So, for example, if you want to write a novel, I think the best example to say is to try and write a chapter each week or something like that. Break it into small tasks. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, as an example, if you have a short term goal of writing an article after 1 week,
Yes.
you have to, as an example, write two sentences every 2 hours. And then
Yeah.
it's different than writing a novel. You have to write a chapter every week,
Yeah.
or so decomposition of the long term objective. So breaking down as a product,
Mm,
it's to
yeah.
analyze how it works. This is the reverse engineering method. This is how you
Okay.
disassembly your tasks, which is
Mm,
you study the process, the behavior of the system, to start seeing the principles, uh, to examine the frame and the structure for the system.
yeah.
So this is the difference. You have a system in a long-term process, which is the reverse engineering method, and the small steps are based. The short-term objective are based on the small steps that you already included in your routine. This is how. So you have
Oh,
one big system and small bold steps that you it reach you to the to your short-term goal.
Okay. All right. So, like, I'm interested in knowing, how do you measure progress in your personal growth journey, by the way?
Measure the growth, you mean?
Growth. Yes, or progress. How do you measure progress? Is
Yes.
it the completion of each of those small little tasks? Is that
Yes.
right?
There's the tools to use in order to measure your your
Growth,
capabilities
progress.
and your
Yeah.
growth. There's some tools to use day to day. So you mentor, you support, you test your learning hours. As an example, some people focus 90 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
like one shot. Other people working 60 minutes and then take some break. Some people work 90 minutes. So this is how you define growth by identify your best method to use it during the
Yes.
challenge. So
Okay.
some people are very suitable by during the during the challenges in a group support, as an example. Some people works individually are more productive than working with group. So
Okay.
in order to test your personal growth is having the best method and tools that suits your personality. This is how
Okay.
you lead your actions towards your goals already fixed by yourself.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what is um I just need to ask you, what are the lessons that you've learned, or what valuable lesson, even just one, you've learned on your growth journey?
Yeah. The one lesson that already learned in my journey is
Mm.
make these routines as my lifestyle. So
Oh, okay.
so you change your perspective, you test your capabilities, you asking questions, and you start building the habit, and indirectly, unconsciously, you start seeing yourself, you changing
Growing.
your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
changing your lifestyle, which is aligned with your obligations, you be with your curiosity, with your personality. You
Yes.
experiment open-minded. You stay open-minded. So you changed. You will be a different person in a different lifestyle. It suits your commitment. It impact your progress, and you define you be another person where another level of growth, and then
Mm.
this is the trigger that this is the trigger of the change. You will be on another extremely another side. You will be on the other side of growth. So I learned from this experience that all the actions that I did and the small steps and the positive mindset, I am now a different person who live with a different lifestyle than before.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Now, I just want to find out, how do you, like, how do you do continuous learning and self-improvement, and what are the resources, like books, podcasts,
Yes,
courses, do you recommend to listeners?
books related to psychology and the
Yes.
challenging are key to progress. There's a book where uh, it changed my perspective. Is named The Obstacle is the Way for Ryan Holiday. There's other books to read based on growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Good to Great is one of a great books to read.
Yes, good to
Uh,
great.
Good to Great, yeah, is for let me try to find the author, but is for Jim Collins. Good to Great. Atomic Habits
Yes.
for James Clear. It's a famous book. It's one of the best books that shows you the small steps to do, how to break bad habits, and etc.
Yes.
And there is one more book to I recommend to read is The Courage to Be Disliked. Is
Oh,
based on
I love that
how
book. I love
yeah
that book. I've read that.
how
Just
how to
I
free
haven't
yourself
finished
and
it
change
though.
your mindset. Yeah, it's for Ishiro Kishimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the best groups
Hello.
books. And
Yeah.
yes, you hear me? Yeah. So you use the
Yes.
best books to shift your mindset, and podcast. It helps you to build the like communication skills, and online courses are the big impact on me, which is I learned a lot and start
Yeah.
to apply this to my community. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. And what is um or what are, like, say, a couple or three actionable steps that listeners can take today to start unlocking their potential?
Yeah, I think the first step is identify your limiting belief, what it holds you back, in order to
Yes.
challenge it. Second step is
Yeah.
take any small step daily. It's good to find yourself toward the goal that you already mentioned, that you already fixed by
Yes.
yourself. Find the right mentor and community for support. As an example, your newsletter, my newsletter, is the common
Yes.
playground that you're already talking, the podcast. Set a learning hour. Some people work 60 minutes and then take breaks.
Yes.
Some other people have different method. And reflect daily on progress. Write your wins, write your failure, see it as a setbacks, and even
Yeah.
every small steps counts here. So take
Yeah.
action, even it's imperfect, messy, or scary. Action is trigger for a change, for becoming a new self, and this is where it leads you to your best objectives.
Okay, thank you for that. So I guess it's keeping at it, isn't it? And
Yes,
just being persistent and
and
resilient and just going on with it,
yes,
even though it's hard.
and the best definition is also to measure progress. When you measure progress, is is about measuring their personal growth. So where
Yeah,
I
so you
was,
know how far you've come and
yes,
where you
correct.
came from and how far you have come from where you started. So it gives you a boost. It gives you motivation, isn't it?
Yes, not only just external results. It gives you you track your mindset where you were 1 year ago, and then now it's you define your shifts. You're consistent
Yes.
or not, you be qualitative or
Yeah.
quantitative wins. So it's not only about results, it's about using the best pattern, accountability patterns, or regular self check ins. So this helps you through the progress to see how far you've become through this process. So when you measure it, you know exactly from where you were, and then where are you going, like which what are the next steps to take.
Yeah, that's great. So, let's talk about future of growth. So, how do you see the landscape of personal growth evolving in the future? Do you think?
Yeah, it should be evolving through the people that they're already aware of their journey and to define I think the people start knowing that the journey and the personal growth is not only a destination. There's no end
Mm-hmm.
point for your growth, and
Yes.
this discomfort, people start recognizing that this discomfort is part of the progress, part of the game.
Yes.
And if you feel scared, you're probably on the right path. If you feel scared,
Ah,
fear, you're on the right path. Yeah, because
yeah.
evolving and focusing on mental well-being and your emotional intelligence and your self-expression is part are a big part of the game.
Growth.
Yes.
Part of growth. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. So, do you think there's any other emerging trends or concepts in personal development that that excite you?
Uh, the excitement now or is based on the AI. I don't know.
AI.
Yeah, AI has a powered learning tools, personal development plans, and the rise of community that driven growth. I think AI will give a lot. It adds a lot of good things to mental health, especially
Oh,
automatically you will have great tools to use, and
okay.
it has two sides. But if you use the AI in a good way, it helps you to
Yes.
overcome what you already need to challenge it. So I think
Yes, I was
the
just going to ask you that. I was just going to ask you whether you support AI or not. Because you mentioned it, since you mentioned it already, I just wanted to find out. But you said that as long as we use it
in a
properly
good
or
way,
in a good
correct,
way, yeah,
it helps you a
that's
lot, and this
good.
is the excitement. This is what I'm looking for.
Yes.
And I'm building a great system, maybe with AI, like part of it based on AI. It helps people automatically to define their social and their social problems, and this is how
Yes.
I can have a frame from your personality in order to communicate with the people better. So I'm excited for this new challenge. I want to see and to know how the AI interrupt into the mental health system of the people.
Yeah,
Really nice.
evolves into helping
Yes.
other people. Yes, that's great. Okay. Now, do you have any other final messages or piece of advice for our listeners
Yes.
seeking to unlock their potential?
Yes, for sure. I have one more sentence, and it's very powerful to
Yes.
your community, to my community, and
Yes.
the people on Substack.
Yes.
Start where you are, use what you have, and take the next step. So, because clarity comes from action. This is my last
Uh,
words. Start where you are
that's
because I start.
awesome. I love that. Start where you are, use
Use
what you
what you
have,
have, and take the next step.
and take the next step. That's awesome. That's
Yes.
so simple, but it strikes a chord. Like it hits me home. It hits home. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, that's
Because
great.
clarity comes from action, and you start defining yourself through the process. It's
Yeah.
yeah, you can connect with people on Substack through your community. You have different groups, you have different newsletter, different categories.
Yes.
Where this Substack where people can engage with your work and they can
Hmm.
help you through your process. So start where you are, use what you have, and take the next step. This is
Oh,
my last
that's
message.
great. Elaine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, lastly, this that wasn't the last question actually. The last question was going to be where can listeners connect with you and learn more about your work? So, obviously, there's Substack. So, do you want
Yes,
to tell us more about, do you have a website or other,
yes,
yeah, forms?
I have my products already mentioned on the about page on Substack. I have
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn. They can connect with me. I have a YouTube channel, Alain underscore Hajjar, my name. Rise and Clarity Insider on YouTube. If they didn't find my
Yes.
name, and I have a Substack like Rise and Clarity Community where I have the group already
Yeah.
there, and they can connect with me, and then I can provide them the best tools to overcome their social problems or whatever they want to do or they need to do. And especially on
Okay.
Substack, you see and you seek the support that they already trying to catch.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
guesting with us here in Moonlight Conversations. And we're looking forward to reading and hearing more about your work. And hopefully, we can chat again sometime soon for
Yes,
another
for sure.
podcast episode. Yeah?
Why not? Why not? Thank you so much for having me. Why not? Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we're going to look at publishing this soon, and then hopefully you can get people contacting you to hear more about your work as well.
Yes, for sure. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to see the feedback of the people, and I'm ready for seeing their comments also and hearing their feedback.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so
See
much.
ya.
See you.
Have a good rest of the day, okay?
Same to you. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.